Select play button. Good afternoon. Peter here. I would like to welcome everyone to the iBlind Users Group or iBUG meeting for Saturday, the 25th of September, 2021. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. More and more of the blind and visually impaired community are finding the iOS devices to be a useful assistive technology tool in their daily lives. Blah, blah, blah. We all know how amazing our iDevices are. Because the iBug guy is not here, we are going to skip some of those boring announcements and cut to the chase. The ladybug has decided to skip the meeting and just drink tea and eat crumpets. Wishful thinking. Let's get back to business. This meeting is being recorded. To enhance the quality of the recording, please minimize background noise. If we hear any phones ringing or voiceovers speaking aloud, we will place you in virtual timeout for the rest of the meeting. We ask that everyone please stay on mute, using the mute key on your device, unless, of course, you have a question or comment. We have an exhilarating meeting planned for today. We will first review some iBug announcements and some recent Apple news and rumors. Then, Sandhya and Herbie will review the cool new features of iOS 15. Finally, we will spend any remaining time to answer questions you may have. I would now like to turn the meeting over to the ladybug herself, Sandhya Rao. Ready to go, ladybug? Play button.
All right, Peter. Thank you,
Play.
Peter. Thank you very much. And well, as much as I would like to drink tea and eat crumpets, we got lots of work to do. So let's get started here real quick. What do we need to do? We're going to talk about, we have the beginning, just letting people know our, we have some rules. This is the iBug Apple Workshop, as Peter said, and we are getting started here. Where should we get started? All right, here we go. Sorry about that. So we are going to remind people that we don't use the hand raise feature here. So we would wait for, there's a break in the action and say your name and then wait to be recognized. Let's see. And then this call is being recorded, as Peter said. So please stay on mute and keep your headphones always make the experience a lot smoother. And then we're going to, let's see, where shall we start? How do we mute, you may ask? So to mute, you do on the iPhone, if you're using the app, it's at the lower left corner. On your iPad, it's at the top center. If you're on a PC, it's Alt-A. And if it's on your Mac, it's Command-Shift-A. There we go. So that's that. We're going to be doing some introductions, and we're going to unmute everybody. What we're going to do today is you're going to say who you are, where you're from, and then in light of football season, you're going to say what your favorite football team is, or maybe even your soccer team if you don't play football. All right, so let's get that started here. All right, so who wants to go first? Say your name, where you are, and then,
this is Herbie in Houston, and my favorite football team is the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, great.
This is Sailor. I'm just outside Houston in the Woodlands, hoping to work at Apple Woodlands Mall soon, of course. My favorite football team, I guess I would say, is Houston Texans.
All right, thank you, Sailor. Keep going. Who's next?
Jerry and Michelle from Brampton, Ontario, Canada.
Welcome.
I'm Ann Brash from LaGrange, Illinois, and my favorite team is the Chicago Bears.
This is Terry Sauerman from Arlington Heights, Illinois, and my favorite American football team is also the Chicago Bears.
Great, thank you. Okay, who's next?
And hello, Ann.
Hello.
Okay, keep going.
This is Adam, Chicago. My favorite football team is the Bears.
Got all the Chicago people here. All right, great, Adam. Glad to have you, sir. All right.
Louise Wood from New Rochelle, but I don't have any favorite team. But
Oh, well, we're glad you're here, Miss Louise. Thank you for
Okay.
coming.
and
All right.
Barry, my husband's here too.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, who's next?
This is Dan from San
This
Diego.
Okay, hang on. Dan, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, this is Dan from San Diego. My favorite football team is the Los Angeles Chargers. Even though they used to be in San Diego, I guess I'll forgive them.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. And who's next? Thanks, Dan.
Dave Clement, Winnipeg, Canada.
Uh-huh.
My favorite U.S. team is the Green Bay Packers.
All right.
But
Way up
favorite
there.
Canadian team, of course, is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Oh, very good. Glad to have you, sir. Okay, who's next?
Okay, my name is David, and I am from Manhattan, New York, New York. Really, I'm not into sports.
Okay, that's totally fine. We're glad to have you, Dave. Go ahead.
Currently unmuted.
Who's next?
Hi, this is Gail and or Gigi. And my favorite football team is the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
All right. Yeah. And I forgot to mention it can be a pro team or a college team. Okay, great, Gail. Glad to have you. Who's next?
This is Carol in San Antonio. I'll take two teams. The Texas Longhorns are winning right now, and Dallas Cowboys, because I used to live in Dallas too.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carol. Who's next?
This is Chanel in Houston. I don't have one except vicariously through Herbie and my family, the Seahawks. So there you go.
All right. Very good, Chanel. Okay, who's next?
Dana in Cincinnati. I have two. The pro team is the Bengals, and the college team is the University of Cincinnati.
Very good, Dana. Glad to have you.
Bearcat. Yeah.
Great. Who's next?
Judy from
I'm
Connecticut.
Shirley.
Hang on, Judy. Go ahead, Judy.
Hi, I am not a sports fan at all.
Okay, that's okay. Like we
Yeah.
said, we're glad you're here anyway. Okay.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, Miss Shirley, go ahead.
I'm Shirley. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk at the same time.
Okay.
And I'm from Ohio. I'm not a sports person at all, but I guess if I've got to pick a team just to pick one, I'll definitely go for Ohio State.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay,
This
who's
is
next?
Ned.
Go ahead, Ned.
Ned from Kyle, Texas. Professional is the Green Bay Packers, and college is Notre Dame University.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ned. Okay, who's next?
Hi, this is
Brad.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Hi, no team whatsoever. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Where are you from, girl?
Oh, sorry, Vermont.
Vermont. All right, Brad. I know what you're going to say.
Do
Houston
not.
Texans. Go ahead, Brad.
I'm in Dallas. My team would be the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and they're not having a good day today.
Oh, sorry, Brad. Okay, keep going. Who's next?
It's Carla from the UK,
Yes, ma'am.
and I don't really have a football team, but if I was going to pick one, it would be the Tunbridge Angels.
Okay, thank you. All right, who's next? Anybody else?
This is Sherry
Go ahead, Tree.
from Springfield, Virginia, and my favorite team is the 6-time Super Bowl champ, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, good job, Tree. Okay, who's next?
This is Kay from San Antonio, Texas, and I'm not into sports.
That's fine. Glad to have you, Kay. All right, who's next?
This is Eva.
Eva, go ahead.
My dad is into the Dallas Cowboys, so I guess I'll go with that one.
Sounds like a good idea. All right. Thank you, Eva. Anybody else?
Sharon from New York, Cornell Big Red Football.
Okay, great. Sharon, glad to have you. Okay, who's next? Anybody else?
Elisa and
This is-
Porter and Dallas Cowboys.
All right, Elisa. Okay, somebody else was about to say something.
Yeah, this is Jamie from Melbourne, Australia. Don't have a team, but Melbourne won the AFL Grand Final last night, which is great for Melbourne supporters.
Wonderful to have you, Jamie. Glad to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, who's next?
Linda from Humble, Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right. Okay. Keep going. Anybody else? Welcome, Linda. Anybody else?
It's Holly from Santa Cruz, California, and I'm not a football fan, but I am a voiceover fan, and I'm glad to be here.
All right. We'll take that. We're all voiceover fans in that way. So great. Glad to
Yay.
have you, Holly.
Thank
All
you.
right. Anybody else? Anybody else? I think this is a first, guys. We have Canadians and someone from England and someone from Australia. So, and not to mention all of our friends who are here in the US. So, oh my goodness, you guys make me so, that's just so exciting to me. And welcome to each and every one of you. We are so happy that you're here. Real quick, we have, like I said, a busy meeting today. I wanted to just first acknowledge anybody with a birthday in the month of September. Birthdays or anniversaries. Anybody want to share? So follow the same rules. Just say your name and then tell us what you're celebrating. Anybody? Anybody have a birthday or an anniversary?
My husband Barry Wood, his birthday was a few weeks ago. He turned 73.
All right. Well, you don't have to tell us the age if you don't want to, but okay. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Barry.
This is Terry.
Carrie Ann.
My birthday is tomorrow and I'll be 67.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, 29 again. Happy birthday, Terry Ann. Welcome to you. Okay. Anybody else?
This is Dana.
Shirley.
Dana and then Shirley. Dana?
Yeah. I got married in September and I was divorced in September.
I love it. Okay, Dana, thank you. Shirley, go ahead.
Okay, our anniversary is in September, and we just celebrated 44 years.
Wow, congratulations.
So I feel pretty good about that. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, anybody else? Okay, just wanted to share that iBUG had a birthday also. We celebrated our 500th call. I guess that's kind of a birthday. So that's for our iBUG Monday night calls. We celebrated that about 2 weeks ago. So thank you for everybody supporting us all over through these years. So through the years. Okay, let's see what's next. All right, so now we're going to do some quick announcements. And the announcements begin with everything, all times are central, and then most of the events are on Zoom, but I will tell you when they're not. So iBUG Mac and Talk this Tuesday, guys, Tuesday, the 28th of September from 7 to 8:30, talking about all things relating to the Mac. iBUG Unplugged, October 2nd. The topic is Get Busy Living. It's going to be hosted by Keith. We can't wait to hear what he has to say. iBUG Cafe, looking forward to that. That will be on. We are going to be talking about all things relating to widgets, battery life, and the app library, which I don't understand. That will be on October 10th from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time. iBUG Vila Book Club. We're reading The Bookshop of Yesterdays by Amy Merson, DB 92,132. That'll be on October 14th at 6:30. Next, iBUG Android Insight, Wednesday, October 20th from 7 to 8:30. All things related to the Android and Android platform and related devices. Apple Workshop, the next one, what we're doing right now, we're going to come back on October 23rd, 2 to 4. Come and join us then. It's iBUG's Life. That will be fun. We're going to be talking about Halloween experiences and games. That will be hosted by George Batiste, and that will be on October 28th. What else? iBUG Buzz. That's every Monday night, and we deal with all kinds of things relating to the iOS platform and apps and peripherals. That's from 7:30 to 9:30 Central Time on this same Zoom conference line. iBUG Buzz is broadcast on various podcasts. It is a podcast. You can find it on Alexa, the Apple Podcast, Spotify, iTunes. You can also find all these are archived on our website. And also you can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to that, and you will get notifications when we post new events on the YouTube channel. I encourage you to subscribe to that. iBUG Mini Buzz on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. Central Time. There we do, as the name implies, it's a mini of what we do on Monday night. Talk about all things relating to the iPhone and various peripherals. And that is all about VoiceOver and how we interact with our lovely iPhones. And that's on the Clubhouse platform. iBUG Mac Buzz, that's on the first and third Wednesdays from 5 to 7, hosted by Herbie Allen. Then we have iBUG Trekkie Talk on the first and third Thursdays of the month. We're watching audio described versions of the Discovery Season 2, episode 13 and 14. If you want to get access to that, send us an email at ibugtoday@gmail.com. And then Friday night at the virtual movies. I recognize several of you have joined us over the past months or more than a year now. And so that is every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central on the Zoom platform. And then we have social time at 7:30. And we play, we have silly jokes, no offense, Dana, some jokes, some movie trivia, some music trivia and so forth. And then we have a discussion and talk about the trivia relating to the movie after the movie. So we hope you'll join us for that. Next, what else? Okay. Those are, I think we've got, that's a lot there. So how do you get a hold of iBUG? Well, you can call us. You can visit our website, ibugtoday.org. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/group/iBugToday. We have a Twitter account at iBugToday. All kinds of good information coming out there, thanks to Herbie Allen. We have you can also, if you need to email us, it is at ibugtoday@gmail.com. All right, so and also forgot to mention all of our Monday night call is rebroadcast on the reading service we have here in Houston, and we are so grateful to them, and that is Sight into Sound Radio. Okay, so those are all the fun announcements. And well, now you're going to get to hear some Apple news, and then we'll start our regularly scheduled program. Okay, let's go to that. Lots of news here, but we will try to keep it short and sweet. So now we know that Apple had an event on September 14th, and all 4 of the new iPhone 13s are available, and people are giving their feedback and talking about what they're getting. I think the iBUG guy himself got his new phone. He was bragging about it yesterday, so I'm sure we're going to hear all about it. The key features across all iPhone 13, the lineup include it's a little, sorry. Okay, what do they include? They include, they have the new chip. It is the A15 Bionic chip. I guess that's pretty cool. Speeds things up. Then the camera improvements, and they have longer battery life and a smaller notch, the infamous notch that we keep talking about. The 2 Pro models also feature a Pro motion display with variable refresh rates up to 120 hertz and additional camera features like night mode portraits and ProRes video recordings. Okay. And for more information, this past Monday, Maria did an awesome job of reviewing in detail the whole Apple event. So you can check that out on iBUG Buzz. That was our call 501. Okay. And then let's see, where are we? Okay. Sorry. All right, then. So we have lots of new stuff going on here. Apple is rumored to be introducing a redesigned MacBook Pro models, probably at another event at the end of October or November. Cool. And then we have the first look at the iPhone 13 inside. They do all these teardowns, and so this reveals a Face ID changes. They have a smaller Taptic engine and a larger battery. So this person named Sonny Dixon from Australia, maybe Jamie knows him. He has taken pictures, opened up this phone. I don't think I would try this, but anyways, telling us what's going on in the phone. And so the photos are showing that the Apple has made some changes to the true depth sensor system for the Face ID to accommodate iPhone 13's smaller notch. In addition, like we said, smaller Taptic engine, larger batteries, and lots more. Other teardowns are coming. iFixit, like we've mentioned on some of our calls, is going to be ripping it up and giving us some more breakdowns. All right. So we know that the iPhone 13 just came out, right? And now there's already speculation about iPhone 14, of course, right? And so they're talking about a hole punch display and a 48 MP wide camera. So these are going to be new features in the phone. And our favorite friend, Ming-Chi Kuo, has also said that the phone with the underscreen display is not going to come out until 2022 or 2023, sorry. And the foldable phones also, I guess, the new folding phones are not going to come out until 2024. Excuse me. All right. Okay. Okay, so that's the Apple News. I'm going to give people a quick chance if anybody has anything they want to add. Okay, real quick, does anybody have anything else to add about the Apple News?
This is Herbie.
I got a question, Sandhya.
Hang on, Herbie. Hang on, Sailor. Go ahead, Herbie.
Could you clarify what you mean by a hole punch display?
That's what they said. I think that's going to replace the notch. That's what I was trying to understand. I think I have no idea what that means. We'll find out.
All right. I mean, well, for those that don't know, anything that replaces the notch will make Sandhya very happy. So.
I know.
This is Shree.
So we're going to put a string through it. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Shree.
I was just going to say, I think what they mean by the hole punch is basically you're going to have a glass over it so that the notch will not be there. And I suspect that the image will cover the hole punch, so the whole screen is, visually there's no the display is not missing in that notch area.
All right. Well, thanks for that clarification, Shree. All right, Sailor, go ahead, Sailor.
What do you mean by the new notch on the iPhone 13? Do you mean the earpiece they're talking about is smaller, or is it the side switch that puts it on vibrate? What do you mean by that?
All right.
This is Shree.
Yeah, go ahead, Shree.
So right now on your phone, if you've touched the screen on the top center, there's a cutout. That is where your earpiece is. That is where your Face ID camera is. And what they did with iOS 13 is they reduced the width of it and increased the height a little bit. And the end goal is that everybody wants is that notch to not be there, that the glass just completely covers it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Shri. And we're going to have to cut the questions right now because
Is
we
it on
really
the
have a lot
top?
of things to
Notch
get
on the-
through.
Sorry,
Okay.
is it not on the top or the bottom?
At the top.
It's
at the
It's
top.
on the top.
Yeah. And remember, everybody, say your name before you speak, please. For all of our new people, I know it's still a new practice, but we are so excited everybody's here, and we are going to get our show started here. So with that, we will. So what we're going to do is we're going to be discussing different features, Herbie and I, and then we'll open it up for questions after, about like 30 minutes, and then we'll do it again. We'll just keep going in that pattern, and that way, just for each segment, we'll have questions at the end. All right, so let's get started. All right, Herbie, would you like to? Oh, well, hang on. Let me. Actually, I need to start with the real quick. Hang on. Okay.
All right. So I guess.
Hang on. Yeah,
oh,
one second.
okay.
1 second. Sorry, I forgot. Okay.
Let me know if you need help with anything.
I will.
I've got
okay.
the buttons at my
So,
fingertips here.
the thing we wanted to talk about. So we're talking about iOS 15, right? So when can you update? Should you update? Those are kind of some of the questions that people are thinking about. And so one big question is it supported on your device? So basically, if you are able to upload iOS 14, then you can use iOS 15 as well. All of the devices will work. It is compatible with the iOS, like we just said, for those and older devices, even up to the original iPhone SE and iPhone 6S. Okay, so that's good news. So given that there are some changes and some features from iOS 15 will not be supported on some devices that are older than iPhone 10s, and this is due to the fact that those older devices run slower processors, and so that's why it can't use the new enhancements. So upgrading, always a good idea to back up your data. It's always a good thing to do that before you upgrade. Sometimes your phone will prompt you, or you can go into settings and go check for whether an upgrade is available and update is available, and then you can do it manually. And then it's the standard procedure. You need to enter your passcode probably, and then accept the agreement of the terms and conditions of the download, and then you'll be on your merry way to uploading your phone. Okay, with that, I think I'll hand it over to Herbie.
Okay, I'm finding out all sorts of things at the last minute here, guys. First, Terry is not doing this instead of me. Thank you, Terry. Anyway, so I'm going to start by talking about the accessibility changes that have been added on to iOS 15. And in my opinion, one of the big ones with VoiceOver now is quick settings. So if you are an iPhone user that's at least intermediate or advanced, maybe basic, you may or may not be familiar with this. You might know about the rotor feature. And what that is, if you, by default, you put your fingers on the phone and you turn two fingers clockwise or anti-clockwise. Well, this can be problematic for people sometimes to really get the handle of these gestures. And so Apple has introduced the quick settings, which is an alternative to the rotor. And you can customize these by going to accessibility in settings and then voiceover. And then I recommend you work your way from the bottom of the screen. But if you prefer to do a lot of swiping, you can work your way from the top. But I recommend you swipe from the bottom and you go left to where it says quick settings and you double tap that. And you can adjust what is in the quick settings by selecting or unselecting the different options that appear there. And then when you want to activate them, you're going to do a 2-finger quadruple tap. So think of it as 2 double taps in a row, or one, 4 taps with 2 fingers, however you want to think of it as. But you're going to do that, and it's going to say quick settings. Now, one little caveat that I need to warn you about with that once you're in there. So when you swipe to the right, you can adjust whatever you want. So maybe it's audio ducking or whatever. Some things are going to say adjustable, but that is a mislabel, like audio ducking, for instance. It's going to say act like you would actually swipe up or down to turn off audio ducking or on, but you would actually do your 2-finger double tap. So I'm not going to do anything terribly advanced here, but a quick demo of this.
Social media folder, 6 apps. Voiceover settings, heading.
So it's called Voiceover Settings.
Filter, search, audio ducking, on, adjustable.
So it says audio ducking on, adjustable, but it's adjustable with your 2-finger double tap. However, volume levels, like voiceover volume, is in my audio ducking, in the quick settings, and that you do still use your 1 finger to swipe up or down with. So that is the quick settings in VoiceOver. Pretty nifty tool. I highly recommend you give it a try and see what you think. The other thing I need to talk about with VoiceOver is there's 2 things. One, though, I think Sandhya's going to talk about in regards to image description, and so I'm going to leave that one up to her. But I do need to talk about navigation style. So you will see this again in accessibility and settings and VoiceOver. So if you're in the VoiceOver settings under accessibility, towards the bottom, you're going to see a thing that says navigation style. And your options are flat and grouped. I personally have not played with the grouped method. The idea is to simulate the Mac more in terms of interacting with things instead of not. And I've seen this demonstrated on the weather app. I honestly have not really tried this much myself, so I recommend that unless you want to, and I mean, you can definitely play with it, but the default setting, what you are used to currently, is the flat setting, and then the grouped is the navigation. I've seen that demonstrated most in the weather app. Okay, next thing I need to talk about is for iOS. Those are pretty much the major VoiceOver changes that I'm going to talk about for now. There's a couple of other things. Under hearing, something that can really benefit, it was primarily designed to help people with tinnitus, but it could really help anybody. Like I was trying to do something the other day and I had some construction going on, and it would have been useful maybe to try this feature out to block the noise. So you can now have some background sounds going on your phone, such as different noise settings. There's one called light noise, dark noise, there's an ocean, there's rain. And you can find these under, if you go to accessibility and just under the hearing heading, look for an audio button. The first thing you're going to see is the headphone accommodations, and the next one is going to be background sounds. By default, these are off, but you can open them up with your standard 1-finger double tap and then turn them on, and then turn on which sound you want. You can adjust the volume level for that sound. You can also adjust whether, other sounds can play over it, like music or whatever. So that might be a little fun feature to play with if you want, if you either, want to, if you do have some hearing issues and you want to play with it, or just in general. Next, a bug that I'm going to talk about. I don't know if this is covered in our later bug section of this, but one bug that people have experienced is the app switcher. And what happens is you bring up the app switcher and VoiceOver does not read to you what is in there. This, however, can be easily fixed with a slight change. Normally we'd have this on because it did reduce the animations with the VoiceOver, but if you go into the motion under accessibility settings and reduce motion and turn that off, That will get the app switcher behaving the way it's supposed to. All right, Sandhya, what have you got for us? I guess we do not have Sandhya. So I guess I will continue talking then.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. Thanks, Herbie. All right, we are moving on. So one of the new features is what? Notifications. Now they're going to be non-essential, whatever that is. So non-urgent notifications are going to be arranged based on priority, and it'll be using on-device intelligence. So the iPhone is going to figure out which things that are going to be important to you, and then it'll collect them and then send it to you at a better time, maybe at the end of the day or in the morning. So that it'll kind of filter itself. There is a new, and then urgent messages and time-sensitive notifications will be delivered immediately. There is now a way to mute any app or messaging thread notifications temporarily. So that's good. And in iOS 15 will suggest muting certain threads if they are unusually active, but you are not engaging in it. So I think that's pretty, goodness, we've all been in those threads, right? So, okay. Next, messaging. New features in messaging that will tell you, like, for example, we've all gotten photos or songs or, different things people share with us, web links on the internet. And what's going to happen is anything that has been shared with you, it is going to have its own little tab in the corresponding app. So for example, if they sent you a link, web link, then it's going to show up in Safari, and it's going to say, hey, Herbie shared this web link with you. So, or if you're in music, and it'll say, hey, Shree sent you this song. So, so it's going to be very interactive in the corresponding app. And this will, like we said, work in Photos, Safari, Apple News, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Apple TV app. So pretty cool. And that way you can go back and listen to, make sure you didn't miss anything. Notes. We all use notes. Those are so valuable, right? And so they have now created new ways of creating tags based on different categories. You can create your own tags in Notes, and then you can create folders based on those tags. So I think this will be very helpful, because sometimes there's just like hundreds of notes, and well, at least I don't know, they're not in a very good system right now. So I think that'll be very helpful. And now for sharing notes, you can mention another user, and then they will be notified when you update or do something to the note. Like if you're collaborating in a group and you're working on something together, or maybe it's a shopping list or something. It's like, oh, we need to add potato chips or whatever. So everybody can add the list, and then you can say, oh, well, hey, Shree added that, or Michael added this, or whatever. So that's going to be pretty cool to be able to do that all together. Reminders also is going to be having tags to help organization. And then it will be possible to search through the reminders based on tags. So it's all about tags. And you can also note when something has been completed and filter reminders based on tags. So lots of new good stuff to be more organized and keep track of what you have completed. Live text. Oh my goodness, Herbie mentioned this, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun for us. So what it does is basically it captures text if it's in a picture, like maybe there's a sign, or somebody's wearing a t-shirt or something, and it will read it to you, and it'll tell you that there has been text detected. and then you can try to have it read it to you. And so then users can you can get that information, you can share it, you can copy it. For example, if maybe there was a phone number in there, and it will allow you to call that number. I mean, it's going to be very powerful what you can do with this. Some people have, there's talk about, well, it's similar to seeing AI. We've talked about that, where it picks up text. So it's similar. The difference is that the seeing AI will work on older devices, whereas this feature is going to only be working on the newer iPhones. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Let's see, then you have visual lookup. So this is going to be, what I wanted to say also is today is a survey, because there are like so many new developments and new features. And so we are just giving you information about what is out there. And then in the next couple of months, we will be, trying these out and sharing them with you. So this is, we're not going to be doing demonstrations, because there's just so much, and we think it's more important to share the information of what is out there. So just letting you know that. So visual lookup, so you can swipe up and find information about a photo. It can recognize objects and scenes and make it possible to learn more about a photo's content. I've seen some demonstrations of this, exploring descriptions. You can kind of get a sense of, what is in the photo. It'll maybe tell you, it gives you descriptions of people. It says, hey, it was somebody with straight black hair. And then they have a slide profile of somebody with gray hair, somebody with facial hair, and then physically describing where they are in the picture. So I think this is going to be very helpful for us. Like maybe we took a picture, and since we can't see it, we don't remember the whole story. We don't remember what it was. So this is going to help us, I think. And then this is going to also be across devices. So across apps. So if you come across a photo, I tried this out, you can look up pictures in your own photo library. And then you can also look up on Facebook. You can get more description there as well. So that's going to be pretty powerful for us. Let's see, there's also, so like I said, you can sort of get a sense of where things are in the picture as you swipe around and touch and explore. A related thing is where you can you can give more description of another person. If you want to, you can go in and add a description or a caption, and that will be shared. So if you share the picture, the person will also get your description. So it's more, it's going to last. It's not going to, be disappearing when you share it, because we've had that problem before. All right. I think that's what I have. Go ahead, Herbie.
Okay, so just real quick, going back to the live text, questions have already arisen. Will it be an OCR replacement? And the answer is currently no. It was meant to capture, some text, but it is seeing AI and other apps do a much more thorough job. So just something to keep in mind with the live text. Okay. On the subject of visual stuff, there is one thing I forgot to mention in our settings, and that's the per app settings. And you can make it, you can use it to make a lot of low vision adjustments. So for our low vision users, you may want to look at that, but you can customize, maybe some apps use inverted colors. Also, one thing, I've so far not had to do this, but I mentioned the reduce motion thing earlier. Maybe you need it on for some apps, and if your phone behaves differently with the feature turned off. And so for voiceover users, we may or may not need that. Time will tell in regards to that. But that is the per app settings, and that is kind of a low vision alternative to different activities. Okay, next thing I need to talk about, and this is a big one, is Safari. And I'm just going to preface this by mentioning that I first learned about how to change things back on iDownload blog, which is a site devoted, designed for like sighted users. So this is not, I think this kind of change doesn't, it bothers many people, not just voiceover users. So that is the new look in Safari. What they've done is they've now introduced these tab groups, and you have your address bar at the bottom of the screen instead of at the top of the screen. I have never liked this myself, and it looks like I said other people don't either. Part of it's muscle memory, part of it's just because when I tried to look at the bottom of the screen, it was never exactly where it should be. But Apple, thanks to some pressure, it sounds like, excuse me, has reintroduced now a way that you can fix this. So if you go to your settings and then Safari and just use your gestures to go to the tab heading, you will be able to adjust the tabs back to the single view, and that will get your Safari back to the old look with the address bar on the top and then your tabs button at the bottom where it should be. Okay, next I'm going to talk about FaceTime, what is in it and what is currently not in it. So, one of the things you can now do is in FaceTime, you can create a FaceTime link. This may be an easier way to create a group call, but its primary design was to allow you to include non-iOS users into a FaceTime call, whether it be one-on-one or group. So what it does is you create the link, and then you send it via whatever method, message, email, and to the other person, and they get it. And then they can click on the link and confirm they want to join the FaceTime call, and voila. So now Windows users, Android users, they can all do FaceTime. One thing you will need to get used to if you use headphones and FaceTime is it now kind of has a stereo separation. And what this does is when you're in a group FaceTime call, it tries to put people where it sees them on the screen in terms of the camera. So like you can have somebody on your left, somebody on your right. If you use Clubhouse, you're already familiar with this concept. I personally think that Clubhouse's method is a little bit better because it doesn't make people sound hollow, but get used to that if you use headphones while on FaceTime. I know it's supposed to work with AirPods. I'm not sure about other Bluetooth devices. You definitely notice that if you're using wired headphones and if you use your phone normally, you do not get the stereo effect. And I did look there. I did not see a way to turn this off. So I thought I'd mention that. You can also now go into the control center when you're in a call and adjust your mic to be narrow or much wider depending on what you want it to pick up. And I think that feature needs a little bit more playing with myself. I've kind of noticed a difference and kind of not. But that's something else. And then also that feature may work in some other apps too, like Zoom. Now, what is not in FaceTime? So I want to make sure this is clear to everybody. The share play option is currently not available. So the idea was with iOS 15, if let's say you and your friend have Disney Plus and you want to watch a movie together, well, you could both launch the Disney Plus app and use the share play to have the movie in sync with each other. It is not an audio sharing thing the way Zoom is. So I want to be clear on that. It does not actually share the audio. You have to have the same app. So you all have to have Apple Music or whatever the person is sharing for this to work. But Apple has currently taken out the feature. They did that several beta cycles ago for various reasons, and we currently do not know when that will be back just yet. So that is pretty much it in FaceTime. Another thing that Apple has introduced, and this, by the way, is device specific, so you have to have the 10 or above, or 10s series, I think, I don't know if the actual iPhone 10 supports this. But with Siri now, you can have it will do offline processing of many of the Siri tasks that you would do on your phone, such as opening apps and whatnot. And that is supposed to make the response a lot better, because instead of it going to a server, then coming back to you and whatnot, then the processing is done on the phone. All right, Sandhya, are we at a point for questions yet?
Herbie, I was going to also say, I read something about how on the new Siri, you can do like follow-up mode. It's like, so I think you can ask her a question about, I don't know, Tom Hanks or something, and then you could say whatever information she gives you, then you could say, well, how old is he or something, and then it would automatically know that you were talking about Tom Hanks. So it's kind of a little more interactive, I think, is what they were trying to say. So that's going to be,
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so we are at a good stopping point there. Thanks, Herbie. So we're going to unmute and then follow our same protocol, say your name and then wait to be recognized. 1 second. All right.
Question.
Sailor, yes.
Well, I actually, it's not a question. I discovered something, Herbie. I don't know if this applies to all like AirPods or headphones, but one thing I've noticed in the new iOS is the AirPods have what's called head tracking. So if you move your head to the right or to the left, your sound of your music moves. I don't know if there's a way to turn that off or not.
Okay, great question. So, yes, you can turn that off. That is something that is, so what Apple has done, this goes back to iOS 14 and the AirPods Pro, and a lot of apps now support the head tracking. It used to be just TV and the Disney Plus apps that I've seen, but Netflix does it now. Select songs on Apple Music will support this. uTunes, a paid an app that you can purchase to listen to radio stations, it supports this. So if you want to hear your favorite internet station in surround sound, it's a very interesting experience, let me tell you. But you can turn it off if you go to settings and then Bluetooth and your AirPods Pro or whatever. There is an option in there under more options to turn the head tracking off.
Under more options, because there's an option that says enable 3D dimensional
right.
sound, whatever that's called.
Yeah, so that should be turned off if you don't want the head tracking on.
I see.
And you could also make sure that the yeah. So anyway, I hope that answers that question.
All right.
This is Sri.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Tree.
Yeah, I was just going to say something about the follow-up. One way you can do it is if you open your contacts, and if you say follow-up message, it will open up the message app for you to send a message to that person. And then obviously you can use dictation to record the message.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Thanks, Sri. Anybody else? The question or comment about what we've talked about so far? We still have lots of more things to go. So
this is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Could one of you clarify this business about making the app switcher behave correctly? Apparently, you say you got to go into settings and find motion and turn it off. Or is that correct?
Herbie?
Yes. So if you go to motion and go to where it says reduce motion and turn that off, and that will make your app switcher behave normally.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if that is that 100% bug or is that a random occurring bug, because I can't replicate it on my phone.
So I'm just curious, Sri, what phone do you have?
I have the 12 Pro Max.
So this is something that's very interesting, because the other person I've heard who cannot duplicate this error is Jonathan Mosen, who also has a 12 Pro Max. So I wonder if there's something in those phones that make it react differently, and I'm starting to wonder if I should have gotten a 13 Pro Max instead of a 13 Pro, but oh well. But on other phone models, this is like on my 12 Pro, for instance, I definitely had this bug. And it was super, super, super annoying because you kind of have to fiddle with it to get it to tell you what app you're pointed to. So I'm wondering if there's something that Apple has done in the Max models. But you're the second person, and you both have the same phone that who have not been able to duplicate this error.
This is Brad.
Right. Go ahead, Brad.
I do not have a Max. I have a 12 Pro. I can't replicate it either. I've been playing with all kinds of reduced motion settings, and I just can't get it to do it. My app switcher works as normal.
Okay, be grateful.
Maybe it's something unique to the 12 that there's not a problem. Maybe it's a I don't know. Is it a 13 or something? I don't know.
Well, I'm running a 12 Pro myself. I mean, maybe it's something from us beta users inherited that you regular users don't. I don't know.
All right. Anybody else? Question, comment about the topics we've covered so far? All right. Okay. So hearing none, we will continue on, and then we'll have another break, like we said. Just 1 second. All right, so I will pick up here. So we have this new thing called focus mode. Okay, so what is focus mode? It is, let's just say, do not disturb on steroids is how I think of it and how I've heard it described. So what is this? What is this all about? So what it is you could be engaging in a, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're working, or maybe you're reading, or maybe you're working out, exercising. So each of these activities is very different, and maybe you don't want certain things coming in when you're working. You don't want to have all your Facebook notifications coming in, and maybe when you're working out, you don't want the emails coming in from your boss, or I don't know, just different things. So probably need to get the one from your boss, but anyway, but what the point being that you can now tailor who can call you and what applications you will receive notifications from. So that is what it is in a nutshell. It replaces, so there's no more do not disturb. It's called focus. And it does, I had some previous things, do not disturb schedules set up before, and those are retained. But so they're encompassed within this focus thing. So Apple has created some for us, like we said, work and gym and family, sleep. So it's got some. And then you can create your own, like for example, if I wanted to create one when I'm doing an iBUG call or something, and then maybe I only want to receive messages from other people that are, helping me facilitate the call, or, certain things, you can really tailor it to who and what will be alerting you. And one problem that I've read about is before, if you were using the do not disturb, you had the option to at least allow the notifications, when your phone was not locked. If there was, but the complaint now is that they took that option away. So you don't have any way of saying, okay, I really want to get my notifications. If I'm using the phone, I want to get these notifications. So you can't do that anymore. So that is what that I've read. So we'll have to see if they fix that. So that's one problem that people are noticing. But what will happen is once you have created a focus, once you've created a focus, then you can select it. It can also, what's really cool is you can set these up automatically. Like maybe you say you want to go to bed at 11:30, so everything shuts down. You only want certain people coming in or whatever. The other thing is maybe when you're at a certain location, maybe when I get to work, so they're called automation. So you can set it up so you're in a certain location, everything starts. You don't have to manually go in and turn on all these things and so forth. So pretty cool. So there's really lots of ability to tailor these things. And then you'll be able to access these in your control center. And it'll tell you, what focus, which one is enabled, and then you can delete them and edit them and all kinds of good stuff. So it's very, I think it's going to be very, very powerful for a lot of purposes. All right, so Herbie, want to try one?
All right, so yes, I can definitely testify to the focus mode. Even if you just use simple do not disturb, you do not get notifications on your screen. So when you turn off do not disturb, get ready to be flooded again with like notifications. It's maybe not as bad as airplane mode if you've experienced that, where you turn it on and off and then you get flooded with notifications, but that isn't unfortunately, that is kind of a bit of an annoying thing. So definitely be made aware of that. Okay. So let's see. What do we have next here? I've talked about several things. Let's talk about iCloud a little bit. Well, first, actually, let's go back and I need to talk about Safari. One other thing is that it does have a secure mode, and this is available to anybody, but you can tell it in the settings to hide your IP address so that sites cannot easily track you. However, there is another thing that is a little different called iCloud Plus, and it is a free service that you are automatically subscribed to once you purchase any kind of iCloud storage plan. And what this does is a number of things. So one of its big things that it touts is the iCloud relaying, and what it does is it basically kind of reroutes you through two different servers to really truly hide your identity. However, there are some places I can tell you this does not work. For instance, whenever I'm on my school's Wi-Fi network, I get a notification saying that iCloud Relay is currently turned off. And so I think there's some networks that it can actually be blocked. So that's something to be mindful about if you're in a school or corporate setting. You may not have access to iCloud relaying. But what you can, it's supposed to really hide your identity, and you don't have to do anything. It does it for you. You can do a couple of customizations with the settings, and I think you can turn it off. Also, another thing is hide my email. So if you've done the sign in with Apple thing, you've already experienced this where it creates a dummy email address at apple.com or icloud.com, and that's what people see, but in reality it forwards to your regular email address. And what's beautiful about this is you can disable that one email address, and so it kind of doesn't give companies your information. Well, hide my email works in the same principle. You can create a dummy email address that forwards to your real email address. I think you can create multiple ones, because you'd probably want to for different companies or whatever, but this way you have a real email address that it sends to. So like if you're signing up for some company or whatever, you may want to do this. You can also have a custom domain. This is really advanced stuff though from what I've seen, so I wouldn't worry too much about that, but unless you know what you're doing with domain records and all that type of stuff. But hide my email is pretty, you'll find all that in the iCloud settings on your phone. Okay, let's see. So Another thing that iCloud does is temporary iCloud storage, and this is supposed to be able to back up temporarily the data for your iOS 14, allowing you to upgrade to iOS 15 with no problems. So let's say if you're like me and you decided that you wanted to downgrade your phone from a 256 to 128 gig phone, and you're regretting that decision because now you don't have enough room. Well, the temporary iCloud storage is supposed to help with that, to where it kind of like gives you temporary storage to allow you to update your device. So at least that is no longer an issue with your phone there. I don't know how well it actually works, just because I'm definitely having still some problems with updates myself, but that's neither here nor there. Find my separation alerts. I don't really have anything to compare this to because let's see, did I have iOS 14 when I got AirTags? I don't remember. But anyway, one of the things that's really interesting is now when you have AirTags, if you go far away from them, it will send you notifications and Find My to let you know. So this is useful, like to prevent you from, like, say, leaving your wallet behind. I definitely experienced this in the airport last summer when I was flying, and it would tell me that I'm far away from the AirTag that was attached to my suitcase, and then it would tell me when I was actually near it again, and that was useful to know because I knew that my case was on baggage claim at least, so it was not lost. Let's see. Skip gaps in voice memos. This is an interesting one that kind of works to an extent. I've seen it demoed. I don't know if I like it, but what you can do is, say if I want to record a voice memo and I'm gonna be like, today we are going to talk about the latest iOS. Well, if I have those skip gaps on, it should shorten it and try to make it sound more like, today we're going to talk about iOS. So that's what that does. It's an option within voice memos itself. And that's how that works. So those are primarily the highlights I really have for iOS 15. I'm just looking through my stuff here to see if I have anything else. There's a new pull to refresh voiceover gesture. I haven't really played with that.
All right. Oh, going up.
That you do have a redesigned start page for Safari if that is how you use yours, but like I don't even have a start page on my Safari, so the other thing I forgot to mention is we do now have an ad recovery account for iCloud. So what's really nice about that is if you cannot remember your iCloud information, let's say like you're a new user, for instance, and you're setting up your phone for the first time and you've never dealt with Apple and you create an iCloud account or whatnot, you can actually now have a recovery option the way you can on other email accounts. Okay, so that is it for my part of today's presentation, and with that, I'll turn things back over to Sandhya.
All right, Herbie, I was just thinking one other thing they mentioned was the legacy feature. So, when we passed away or when you're shared with somebody else, right? Yes, that's right. And those, I must admit, are a couple I need to look into a little bit more myself, but guess in this time basically
COVID,
what it means is that they can get into your account and so forth, so it's not everything is lost, so that's actually a good thing.
And that is a really good thing, because otherwise, from what I've heard, if let's say somebody does pass away and somebody's trying to get into you're trying to recover that account, it is a nightmare to work through Apple with that because of how security conscious they are. So right.
Yeah, very. And then I think you mentioned this about being able to help somebody else find their password, or assuming you trust them.
Yeah, the recovery. Yeah, the recovery
password. Okay. All right. Okay, very good. Let's see. So some more features that we're going to quickly talk about. There is some people, I mean, have had problems where the flashlight is inadvertently turned on, and maybe you don't realize, and then it's like sucking up your battery, right? And so now under verbosity, you're able to get notified of that and turn it off. So that's pretty helpful. There's a way now for verbosity to also let you know if there is an actions menu available in the rotor ahead of time. So that's helpful. Let's see. Another feature that is now has its own app is the Magnifier. So it's kind of been in the background and it's been getting more and more powerful. So now it's its own independent app. So that is going to help several, the low vision users can use that, and you are able to do spot reading and so forth. So pretty cool. Glad to see that, and have to try it out. Let's see. Another new feature is Spotlight. We forget how powerful Spotlight is, and that is where you can just if you're on a home screen and you swipe down with 3 fingers, you can enable start the Spotlight search. And what it's giving you a lot more capabilities of searching the internet. It's a lot smarter, I guess, is what they're trying to tell you. And this may not help a lot of us, but you can also search for images. You can search for whatever, cats or whatever. If you type in the word cats and image, it'll just pull up all the current images of cats on the internet. Now, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but maybe people do want to do that. Another thing that's pretty cool is it also, in addition to searching the internet, it will search your photo library. So I was able to search for dog, and I found all the pictures of Misha in my just found all these pictures, and well, I'm pretty sure they were her. They could be my sister's dog, but I don't know. I'll have to make sure. But the other thing it even found a video where I had done a video for a birthday for a friend, and Misha was in the video, and so it even found that. So I thought that was pretty powerful. Let's see. Lots of things here to talk about. So why don't we let's see. I think we could open it up for a little more questions, and then there might be a few more things. So let me open it up, and then after that we will discuss the bugs. So hold on 1 second. All right, so who has anybody have any questions or follow-ups or thoughts?
Elisa.
Go ahead, Elisa. Hang on, Elisa, go ahead.
So I think, Sandhya, you mentioned about the do not disturb. So that has changed now to the focus mode, I believe. Is that what you mentioned?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So, and it's going to be fun to work that out. Yes?
So you can have different apps, and you can use that, and you can put it on different apps so you won't get disturbed.
Right. So maybe if you're sleeping, or maybe not sleeping, maybe you're with your family, maybe with your family time, you can create something called family time. And then, so you don't want to get, I don't know, certain emails from people, or you don't want to get certain, you can just block certain things, so it'll be pretty fun. And you can pick certain people that you say, okay, well, with my family, then I can get notifications from all other members of my family. So you can just set it up. There's all kinds of ways to tailor it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
It's Sharon.
George.
Sharon and then George. Go ahead, Sharon.
So this do not disturb is totally gone. Is that what you're saying?
It's been supplanted by focus. I mean, it's still there, but it's kind of been rebranded, shall we say?
So this is Herbie.
Two quick question. So sorry. Yeah, Herbie, sorry, go ahead.
No, so basically what it's going to do is you're going to see, like, say if you access this Do Not Disturb from the control center, it's going to be called focus mode, and you're going to see, like, Do Not Disturb focus in your lock screen. So it's the same thing, but just, well, disables your notifications now completely, unless you have somebody in, like, favorites or emergency bypass. But, so that's basically... But so you still do have your Do Not Disturb mode, but it's called focus mode.
Okay, and do you know if they still have, I think it's set up automatically, like if somebody calls twice in a row, it goes through.
Right.
That
Those
option.
I think those are still there. I mean, like if they're in your favorites, if they call, I have to look into that. Like I said, these are all pretty new. I haven't checked. I'm assuming
Yeah.
those are still there, but we don't know just because. Okay, but we will be following up and checking these out. But okay, great question.
Hi, this is Kathy.
Hang on 1 second. George, go ahead, George.
Yeah. And the question that I have, I don't know if you will have time to answer it in this because it's probably kind of high tech. So I may ask for where I can go to learn. I'm sort of iCloud ignorant as far as maneuvering, how to send stuff to the cloud, how to retrieve stuff from the cloud. What gestures do you use? Is that fully accessible? And if it is, do you have any suggestions where I can go to practice so I can become no longer iCloud ignorant?
All right, Herbie, you want to take that one?
I was gonna give that one to you. No. And anyway, so iCloud is very easy to use. I mean, once you enable it on your phone, it is going to, the majority of it just works because your apps will be designed to automatically upload to iCloud. You just need to do things that you would normally do anyway, like plug your phone in while on a Wi-Fi connection, and it'll back up your data. I think it will also do that if you have a 5G enabled phone. So the majority of iCloud, and then if you're wanting to work with files in iCloud, that's what you would use the Files app for. So that is a brief. Does that answer your question there, George?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Because I guess what I'm wanting to do that every once in a while, and I have no idea when it happens, that you would get your storage is full. You may want to move some things to the cloud. So I wonder, would I be able to independently move some apps to the cloud while I want to pull others from the cloud so that I can use them? And is that a simple process?
No, that's not. That's
not what I wanted you to hear. I want you to tell me, yes, it is.
That the phone is kind of, I've never seen a way around it where it's not all or nothing, because I love to you can store files in the cloud, and you can do some things like apps can be in the cloud if you're not using them for a while or whatever. So there are some things you can do with that, yes, to kind of help optimize storage a little bit. So yeah, there are ways to put apps in the cloud if you do have the cloud storage for it and stuff like that. So the short answer is yes, there are some ways it can be done, and there are some things you can do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, I think Kathy was the next person.
Nancy,
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Kathy?
Yes. So I have an iPad Pro and I have a iPhone 10 Plus. Is it safe to upgrade to 15 yet, or iOS 15 or not?
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
My question to you is, if you use Siri, I would not upgrade right now because there's some bugs that impact Siri users. So if you're the kind of person that says, hey, Siri, read my text, read my mail, Siri, find this number, those things are not working right now. So if those things are important to you, I would not upgrade. If other things that are not Siri, associated with Siri, then you could upgrade.
All right.
So
Thanks.
Siri is a little bit buggy.
I'm sorry.
She's saying Siri a little bit buggy. Yeah.
Siri is the biggest bug that they have, and I suspect this is my guess. Is remember we talked about how Siri is moving local base instead of going to the internet to get all the information. I don't know if that's causing the quirkiness of it not responding, but nowadays, if you ask Siri a question, it's going to say, I don't know, or, I'm checking. But the things that I mentioned, it's not giving the answer. Like it won't, you can't call something that's not in your contacts with Siri anymore.
Yeah, that is an issue.
It won't read your unread messages and texts right now.
Oh my.
So then this is Herbie. Question for you, Shri. Have you tried turning off the offline Siri processing so it'll go back to the old way just to see if that affects its behavior?
I haven't tried that, but I've been working with Apple Accessibility, and they have told me what I just said, that if you're a Siri if you're a heavy Siri user right now, they don't suggest it because that's the complaint that they're getting most right now.
It's Sharon. Can I say something? Sorry.
Okay, hold on. I think Nancy was ahead of you. Is this related to this topic?
It's related to this topic. It's related to Siri.
Okay, go ahead. Who is this? Sharon?
Oh, Sharon. Sorry. Yeah, this was my question because my Siri now is not working because you ask her to read a voice message and she can't do it anymore. She's like half working. And I thought when I spoke to accessibility, so Shri, I think you know more than me, they sort of implied that if I did the upgrade, which I haven't done yet, that will fix it. But you're saying it won't? I'm a little confused.
This is Shri.
Yeah, Shri.
I'm currently running 15 and my Siri doesn't work. And I've created, my conversations with Apple has been pretty intensive with the Siri. So I'm just telling you what my experience has been, and I'm telling you what the engineers that I've been dealing with are telling me is if you're a very heavy Siri user, they know that this is a major problem because there's really no workaround for us. So I suspect they're pretty heavily engaged. I don't know if it's going to be released in 15.1 or not, but some of these Siri responses that I presented to Apple Accessibility, they're not even asking for the logs because they already got plenty of other people complained about it. And that is what I'm experiencing. I haven't, tried what Herbie just suggested, but I would personally just say if you're a heavy Siri user, I would hold off.
Right, and the only thing I'm finding, I'm sorry, is that I haven't even done the upgrade yet, and it's not working.
This is Sailor.
Hang on, Taylor. We have Nancy before you. Okay. So go ahead. Sharon, are you finished or follow up?
Yeah, but all I wanted to say is I haven't done the upgrade yet, and I'm having problems with Siri. So I don't know what I've called them too, and I did the thing. I turned Siri off and I turned it back on, and it's still not working. So it's a real problem. I mean, I hope the upgrade would help, but it sounds like it won't.
So this is Herbie. What I will say then is I would say if you're having Siri problems, you're probably not gonna lose anything by upgrading, but I mean that's a decision you have to make, but I'd say if you're already having problems, you're probably not gonna you may as well get the full benefits of iOS 15, but that's just my thoughts. Anyway,
Shri had a follow-up.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Siri and iOS 14 should be working because it was not a known issue. The only issue is, the response to the service has been always an issue, but I didn't have issues like not being able to read my text messages. I did not have issues calling Siri to call someone that's not in my contacts. So I would say if you're having that problem, you probably had some issue with with an upgrade. I suspect this problem is globally around with iOS 15 because that's what I'm hearing.
This is Sailor.
Okay, hang on, Taylor. Okay, go ahead, Nancy. You were waiting.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Sandhya.
Hey.
So my question. Thank you, Sri, for putting that. That's super important. I think for a lot of people, knowing that Siri may not work with 15, that would have made me mad. I am discovering that I'm having a little bit of it. Used to be that I could say read or play voice messages, and it now says I can't do that. Right. And I haven't even upgraded. So I was curious a little bit about if email has had any changes or any surprises in 15. I may not do the upgrade, but I was just curious about that because
This is
that
Herbie.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed with email, and the other day at least, is because I don't use it as much on the phone to respond to people, but I was having some really hard time the other day trying to find the reply button. So that may be a bit of a challenge. I need to play with it more, but that's one thing I've noticed with mail is, it's a little bit harder to find the reply button. So that's
Lisa.
This is
Hang on, Elisa. Follow up on this because we still have to come back to say,
Yes.
hang on, Taylor, hold on. Okay, so follow up on this question.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is Brad.
Brad.
Maybe I'm not using all the features, but my mail seems to be working no different than it did before. I have noticed, well, I did notice on my wife's phone, the layout was a little different, but that was under 14. But under 15, I'm not really noticing anything any different. I mean, I'm noticing in the when I'm in a message when I'm actually replying or composing, there's some differences in the way the edit field responds, but for the most part, it's the same. But as far as finding reply all, forward, moving messages, everything to me seems to be the same. So I'm not sure if there was something that popped up in the beginning where I said, no, don't use new things, just keep it the way it was. I don't remember, but my experience is unchanged.
This
All
is
right.
Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
So the only thing that I've noticed different with the mail, and it probably applies to other apps too, is if you have navigation style turned on to group, then the behavior changes a little bit as you're swiping, because if you're in the list of your emails and your navigation style is set to group and you flick left, you can't go to the toolbar. It stops at the first message. But if you turn the navigation style to flat, then it works just like it's been working with iOS 14. I agree with Brad. I have not seen any showstopper on using the mail app. I've sent mail and I've not had the issue of not getting the reply, anything like that. I've only had the problem if the navigation style is under group.
All right, let's go back to Sailor real quick. I'm sorry, Jim. Hang on. Let's come back to Sailor. You got a question?
No, I have a statement. I just want to say, regarding the Siri issues, I've never had any issues since upgrading.
Okay.
Honestly, iOS 15 works beautifully because I had read in Apple this before that they've given a bunch of warnings not to upgrade right away because of bugs. And one of the bugs that Apple this found was that I could not toggle between my passes and cards in the wallet app, which I can do just fine. So just in all, everything with iOS 15 is totally fine. Siri works beautifully. I mean, so those who are hesitant to upgrade, I would upgrade. You're good to go. Everything's fine.
Well, it's up to different people. And like we just said first, okay, so thank you, Sailor, for those, your experience with the new upgrade. Go ahead, Jim.
Yes, I was just going to say, email looks exactly the same as it did in 14. And I'm sorry for getting in here so late. I meant to get in here earlier, but I had a conflict. But at any rate, email looks the same. The buttons for replying are down at the bottom. You just go to more, and another dialog box pops up with forward, reply all. That's still the same. And the only issue I'm having right now is with the haptic feedback. That's constant. I wish I could turn that down a little bit. I did have an issue with the task switcher not reading all the items in my taskbar, but I turned reduced motion off, and that's straightened out that problem.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, great. Thanks, Jim.
This is Shirley.
Okay, go ahead, Shirley.
I have a quick question about something you talked about earlier. When you were talking about the podcast, that's available on the A devices. I wondered if you could tell us real quickly how to request that and how often it comes out.
Yes, there have been a few issues. So normally what you could just say is, "Hey lady, play the iBUG Buzz podcast." And we are still trying to resolve that issue. So for right now, it may not be working. It used to work, and hopefully we can get it working very soon. But that is normally how you would do it. But until then, we recommend if you're able to use, Spotify or Apple Podcast, it'll automatically refresh and you'll see the latest episodes will be all right there. And like I said, the YouTube channel is another way to quickly see our latest productions or latest.
And how often do you update that?
Those are updated within days of, within 2 days of when we actually do it. So.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to say, you can also go to iBUG today, and there's a tab for podcasts, and it's all there too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Right,
This is Ann.
right. Okay, hang. There was somebody after Shirley before. Herbie, did you hear who? Okay, go ahead, Ann, and then Brad.
I just wondered where the setting is to set so that your phone doesn't upgrade automatically.
All right, who wants to help Ann with
This
that?
is Herbie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in software update, you can turn off the upgrade automatically feature.
All right, I think I heard Brad.
Yeah, I want to go back to the question about focus and do not disturb. Do not disturb is not only still there. I've been playing with it for the last few days. It's not only still there, you find it under settings, and then right where do not disturb used to be, you find focus. And when you open up focus, there's like 4 different categories, and I think it's the top one is do not disturb. And when you open it, it's there, just pretty much just like before, only as Sandhya said, focus is do not disturb on steroids. Well, now do not disturb itself has been enhanced. All the same features are there. They're just like expanded upon. For example, used to be you could be on do not disturb, and I think people in your favorites could override it. Well, now it seems that you're able to add people to a list, so they don't have to be just people in your favorites. There is a toggle to turn on your favorites, but you can add individuals who are not in your favorites to your list who can override. And then what I also saw is there used to be a feature where you could set certain times, bedtime, wake up time, when you wanted do not disturb to turn on or off, or other times. Now that again is also enhanced. In addition to defining times when you want it, there's some other criteria such as location. You can set it to when I arrive at the office, go on to do not disturb, or other such criteria. So it's pretty neat. They've definitely expanded on that. So have no fear. Do not disturb is still there. It's just bigger and better.
No fear. And the other thing I forgot to mention, a new thing is, so when you enable one of those focus features and say, I've got, my do not disturb on, or, one of the focus is enabled, and I can share that with people. So if Brad sends me one of his text messages, it'll say, Sandhya's got her messages silenced. So, you're not going to get a response right away, but you can choose whether or not to share that. So that's a new.
This is Brad.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. That's a great feature too. One of the other things I noticed, one of my favorite things that I've always used with do not disturb is I put calendar entries, even if they're just generic. It says I'm in a meeting or I'm doing something. And so the purpose of that is so that just prior to going into a meeting, be it a Zoom call or something else, I can open up Control Center. I could go to the do not disturb button and do a double tap and hold, and it would open up a little context menu with some things like turn on do not disturb for an hour till tomorrow morning or whatever. But the bottom one was always until the end of the next event, and it would pull that from your calendar. And I'm happy to see that that is still there. I can go into control panel. It now says focus. And when I do a I can either do a double tap and hold, or I can actually touch on it, and then by default, it does a rotor action where I can flick up, and it says something to the effect of more options, and it will open that do not disturb menu. It looks a little different, or at least it navigates a little different. It's bigger and seems to have more stuff, but the same things are there. And my little calendar entries will still be there, and I'm still able to activate do not disturb, during the next calendar event. So that's really cool. I'm glad that was not taken away. I kind of panicked at first and cursed at Apple until I figured it out. But it's still there. They didn't take anything away. It's just a little different.
You brought up a good point about, so any of these focuses that either you use the ones that are already created for you by Apple, or if you create your own, like maybe I create an iBUG one, and then maybe, down the road on another day, I want those same settings. You can enable a certain focus, like Brad said, for another hour for the end of the day or whatever. So that's also there. So it gives you a lot more flexibility. Like maybe you want these settings, but maybe you want to change when you need them. So there's a lot of control there. So it's pretty cool.
This is Shri.
Shri.
I just want to make one comment about the upgrade. If you do upgrade to 14.8, it will prevent you from upgrading automatically, because one of the options that'll be down in the bottom is to upgrade to iOS 15. So if you have 14.8, then it's not going to install automatically, because if you do want to install, you're going to have to go and select it. And I did notice that when I upgraded my iPad from 14.7 to 15, it forced me to install 14.8 first before I could install 15. So, if you don't have the latest version, I suspect it's probably going to do the same thing. So, you're not forced to just automatically install 15 like before.
Good point there. All right. Anybody else with a question or observation? Anybody that's already been
Brad.
using iOS? You can go ahead, Brad.
One more thing, going back to do not disturb. I noticed, like, under old do not disturb, you used to find things like do not disturb while driving was in do not disturb. Well, they've now pulled that out of do not disturb, and that is its own separate category in Focus. So going back to what Sandhya said, it's do not disturb on steroids. They've rearranged and reinvented the whole thing, but from what I can tell, nothing has been taken away. If anything, they've enhanced what was there before, and they've added to it. So it's definitely something to spend some time with and look at it.
So now when you're ignoring me, I'm going to know that you're ignoring me, right, Brad?
No, I have it set so that I don't inform people when do not disturb.
So I'll just
like I don't let people know when I've read their text messages or send read receipts on email. No.
So this is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So I mean, though the thing with so the other day, I was gonna text somebody, and I actually saw that they were in do not disturb. So I chose to wait until later, because they're like, okay, you know what? I can actually see that they are busy. I don't need to send this message right away, and I don't need to. They actually have me on emergency bypass, so it would have gone through. So the advantage with that is, I guess it depends on who's texting you, but it can, if the other person can make an informed decision as to whether what they have to say is important or not, or if it can wait. So I definitely was influenced by that the other day, seeing that on somebody's status.
So this is Sandhya. So when you do something like that, so if I have it activated and then you send me a message, then I think you said this earlier, it'll be like airplane mode, and then I'll get everything right when I turn it off or when it's over.
Yes. Okay. The other exception would be you would see, maybe if you're browsing through your apps, you would see that Messages has one new item or something like that.
And this is something. How did you see the other person's? You just saw them in your messages, or
so keep in mind I don't use Siri for my messages. I actually go to the Messages app. So it was right there in their status. It was like I saw this extra thing. Was like, what? And it said, right at the end, right before you type your message, it said do not disturb. So
cool. Okay, very good.
Gary, question.
Yes, sir, Jerry. Go ahead.
Speaking of different apps and everything, I have an email. We were going back to the email for a minute here. Just wanted to say that the sounds don't work on the email ever since I've got the new iOS 15 update. Now, I don't know if there's anything turned off on that or why it wouldn't work. Yeah, does anybody there might have an answer for that, I wonder?
This is Brad.
Brad, go ahead, Brad.
I've experienced this sometimes when going from what I call a whole unit, 13 to 14, 14 to 15. Go into your settings, go to sounds and haptics, look at your email, and make sure you actually have a notification sound selected. Sometimes those get changed, and the one that you had may, for some reason, not be selected anymore. I've had that happen on other things like an alarm. The thing I had selected was not there, and had I not checked, I'd have set that alarm, gone to bed, and nothing would have happened. But anyway, go in there and check your sounds and haptics, and see what you've got.
This is Shree.
Shree.
Yeah, I was going to say also with what Brad said too is also sometimes when you do these updates, even though it may be on, some quirkiness could have happened that you have to turn it back off and then turn it back on too. So sometimes I've seen that.
This is Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yes, in 15, what to do with the sounds, to do with mail, you now need to go in and they now let you set the different options for each mail account that you have. If you've got multiple mail accounts that you're able to use in your mail, you have to go in, and for each of those accounts, you have to set up things like what sounds you want and whatnot. And a lot of people have lost their sounds because they do have more than one mail account, and they didn't know to go in. That wasn't very well documented anywhere. So if you go to settings, and then you go to mail, then you go down somewhere into accounts. I haven't gone to 15 yet. I've just seen this in all the trouble logs. So
this
you do
is
have to do something different. Yeah.
So Dave, this is Sandhya. Are you saying like maybe now we can put different sounds for different email accounts, or that's what you're saying? Or sounds like it? Or
I haven't explored it, but you possibly could. I'm not sure.
Okay,
You'd have
we'll
to
have
look at
to-
it and see.
Okay, thanks for that update. Okay, Ned, go ahead.
Yes. Speaking of emails, I have Voiceover that reads my mail, and I get mail from the Library of Congress, like Today in History, the National Book Festival, their blog. And starting yesterday, it spells out the word library. It used to say Library of Congress. Now it spells out the word library, then of Congress. What caused that to happen?
This is Brad.
Brad.
You might go in and navigate through and go character by character. My guess is library is in all caps for some reason. And it's something to do with whichever voice you have selected. You might get different results using a different voice, but you can experiment with that. But that would be my guess.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Okay, before we get to the bugs, any other, I mean, we can come back, but any other questions?
Yeah,
Sharon,
does anybody
Sharon,
have,
hang on, Sharon and then Jerry. Okay, Sharon?
So I just, while you were talking, I just double checked and I see I'm only on 14.7.1. So my question is, do I upgrade to 14.8 first and then make the decision ultimately whether to go to 15 or what are the thoughts?
This is Shree.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so my experience, because before I went from 14.8, but on my iPad, I was on 14.7. And when I tried to update, it forced me to update to 14.8. So I suspect, because 14.8 is the one that allows you to have the option not to proceed with future updates.
Ah.
And it's a little bit tricky too, because some people, when they go to 14.8 and they go to settings, general software update, they see, oh, your software is up to date. But if they flick right, you'll see in the bottom, it'll say, go ahead and update to 15. So if you don't flick right, you don't know that option is down in the bottom.
Okay.
This is
All right.
Brad.
Right.
Okay, Brad, and then we're going to move
Yeah,
to
that's a new
bugs.
feature they've got, so that there used to be, if you were on version whatever, in this case 14, or last year 13, you had no choice but to upgrade to 14 if you didn't want to. This year, if you're on 14 and you're upgrading within the 14 cycle and you don't want to go to 15 for whatever reason, they're not going to force you, and they are going to continue to, much like they do on the Mac, they are going to continue to issue security updates and vulnerability patch fixes and things under whatever version of iOS you're on without forcing you to upgrade to the next whole unit upgrade.
Okay, thank you. And when you guys call Apple and talk to the engineers, are you dialing in through the accessibility number?
This is Sri.
Sri.
Yes. So if it's associated with VoiceOver, I'm calling through accessibility. If there's other issues, then I'm calling through AppleCare.
All
You
right.
called- Okay, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna just go over some quick bugs. Some of these have already been mentioned, and then feel free to chime in. So I think Sailor mentioned this thing about the Apple Wallet will crash if you are attempting to use any card, ticket, or pass other than the first one in the list. And so the crash happens immediately for some people, and then after a while for some people. So as a workaround for those who encounter this as an immediate crash, they suggest that while on this screen, you should be able to use the move up from the VoiceOver rotor on the desired card or ticket or pass. And hopefully that'll work, but apparently there's some inconsistencies in that as well. Let's see, next. The time picker used when creating or editing a scheduled screen time down or downtime or app limit is not working. So that's not happening. So specifically, if you navigate to settings and screen time and downtime and then schedule, the picker used there to set up start and end time is not accessible. So not too good. Next, the Apple One subscription screen is not accessible with VoiceOver. Specifically, they're saying that if you do not currently have subscribed to Apple One, and then you go on your subscription screen through the App Store or the Settings app, and then select the button to view the Apple One bundle options, the text on the page is not read by VoiceOver. Not very good. Next, VoiceOver may not speak the names of apps as you move focus through the app switcher. We talked about this already, so we'll move on. There are no Braille display commands for the following, and no options for assigning these to commands with a Braille display keyboard. And those are quick settings, moving in and out of group navigation, or locking the screen. Next bug, when composing a lengthy email with the Apple Mail app using a Braille display, random words will be inserted into the incorrect place. Well, that could be a problem. All right, be careful there. Let's see. It is not possible to edit existing alarms in the native clock app when VoiceOver is enabled. For now, the best way is to just delete it and start over. Well, that's great. Next, when attempting to add an existing photo to a message in the message apps, the grid A grid of available photos cannot be located or navigated by swiping, only by touch. So not too good there. Can't access photos that you're trying to send. It can be difficult to access the multitasking controls on an iPad with VoiceOver after opening the menu. Okay, specifically the multitasking control buttons is
And Sandhya, we
We
lost
lost you, Sandhya.
Yeah, we lost you.
All right. Well, Sonia's been having some issues with her mic cable, so why don't we just keep things rolling along here? We've got about 10 minutes left. I unfortunately don't have her bug list in front of me, so. But does anybody have any further questions, comments?
This is Shri.
Shri, yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say one other thing. This is for people that have an iPhone 6S, 7, 8, and just the regular 10, not the 10R or 10S. This is what you're not going to have with iOS 15. You're not going to get the live text. You're not going to get the portrait mode on FaceTime. You're not going to get the spatial audio on FaceTime. And some of the map features that are currently available, that's not going to be available on those devices. And this is something I've not used, but apparently there is on the map, there's a AR feature with the new map that won't work with the older phones. And that's, from what I understand, won't be available on these older devices.
All right. That is good to know. So if those features are important to you, then that you may need to consider an upgrade there. Thank you, Shri. Okay, anybody else? Nope. Okay, well, as you all can hear,
Hey.
Oh.
Sorry about
Yes.
that. I did have a question. Sherry here again. I just
Yes.
want to interrupt quickly. We were talking about clocks quickly. I don't know if you heard of the Westminster chimes clock.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Ever since the new update, again, as I mentioned before, but the email, appreciate that advice. But if you've heard of the Westminster chimes clock, that doesn't seem to work either on the new update. I don't know if they'll update that anymore or not.
Oh, that is good to know because I thought about checking that one out. Another recommendation. So what we are talking about is so like some of us have the hourly announcement clocks. Like there's an app called Chime, and that has been broken on iOS 15. And so there's been a number of recommendations for alternative clocks. So somebody did mention Westminster chimes. I guess that does not work. Another clock I heard mentioned the other day is called Voiceover clock. I have not had a chance to play with that yet. But
Clock, interesting. I should try that.
Yes.
So
Now,
what do you
if
pay in the App Store? Just a voiceover clock? Is that what you
I
pay?
think so, yes. I saw it mentioned on a Facebook group the other day. I have not had a chance to try it out myself, but I would just try searching for voiceover clock. Probably voiceover would be one word. And yes.
It's Marie.
Marie, welcome.
I
Hello.
downloaded it a couple of days ago, and it just comes on the hour, and you can pick a male or a female voice, and it just says it's 9 o'clock a.m. or it's 12 o'clock, and that's all it does. It just comes on and announces the time, and it's gone.
There's
also good
hold
time.
on, guys. Okay, if you want to say something, please say your name and wait to be recognized. And so, Marie, my question for you is: can you customize it, like to tell it to come on the half hour or anything like that?
I haven't tried. That's possible. I just like I say, I just downloaded it, and once an hour was fine for me. So I really haven't checked on that.
All right. And one other thing I do want to mention on this feature is, I do mention, and it is not broken, if you have an Apple Watch, it does have a chime feature you can activate that will chime the hourly settings. It won't tell you the hour, but it will chime. So Okay, Jerry or somebody, did you have any more questions or comments on this or any other topic?
Yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to say there's also Good Chime on there, which works fine. That's chimes every half hour.
All right.
So that's also pretty good.
All right. Well, thank you for chiming in on this conversation.
Hey, Sharon.
Yes.
Quick question. Do we know on the calendar, you guys taught me how to set it up. So now not only do I have the alerts set, but I hear the alerts, which was a breakthrough. Is that still continuing in 15? Is that working okay in 15?
Yes, as far as I've been able to tell, I still get all my alerts. If anybody's experienced differently, definitely let us know, preferably in a timely manner. Okay. And let's do it this way. But yes, I do believe that and okay, sorry, I'm having to kind of multitask here. I do apologize. Oh, maybe you're on here with a different name. Let's see.
This is Shree.
Okay. But hold on. I've not noticed anything with the
This is Brad.
Yes. Okay, Shree and then Brad.
No, I was just going to say, if people are planning to upgrade, I know Sandhya kind of mentioned this, is just make sure you do an update right before you do the backup right before you do the upgrade, just so if something goes out of whack, you have a recovery from just that point before the update. Either through your PC,
That
through your
is good
computer,
to
or
know.
through your cloud.
Real quick, Sandhya, can you unmute? Okay, I did not think so.
I don't know what she did.
Okay, Sandhya, if you can possibly come in on another device, because we are not hearing you, but I'm still seeing that you are on the call. Okay, so yes, definitely, definitely
Brad.
Shree. Yep, go ahead, Brad. Yes, you were going to say something.
You were looking for the speak alert. I was going to say, I believe they've nested it inside something else. So it used to be right there under VoiceOver with all of the VoiceOver options, and I was just sitting here looking for it just now when you were looking for it, because I remembered they've nested it, but it'll show up. You'll find it. You'll figure out what it is, but it's still there, just like always. They just, you get to something, I can't remember what it's called. It says button, and you open it up, and it's in there with a couple of other options.
All right.
Keep looking, you'll find it.
Perfect. And by the way, the other thing I will mention is, and I'm kind of multitasking here, guys. We kind of have a interesting things going on here. I did try my email a little bit ago, and I did not have any problems this time. So I do not know why it was giving me grief that one time. And
this is Chanel.
Chanel, yes.
If you're talking about speak notifications, another place that is in quick settings. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but and if it's not, then uh-oh.
Hi there.
There you are. Yep. Nope. I was trying to find my unmute, and welcome back, Sandhya.
Sorry.
We got Terry with a question.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, Sandhya, you're back.
Yes, I don't know what happened. Yeah, keep going. Okay, thanks, Herbie. All right. We're just about getting close to the end, but okay.
Before you go, when we're done with this discussion, I had a calendar thing that I think you omitted for this week. At least I didn't hear it.
Okay.
So I wanted to mention that, but it obviously doesn't have anything to do with our subject at hand, but I just want to point it out because it's for this week.
All right. Okay. So anybody else? Thank you, Herbie. Anybody else? So we are basically at the end of our call, and just wanted to thank everybody for participating. Thank you so much, Herbie, and all of the, everybody who's shared their experiences with the iOS 15. And as we said, this was just a survey, and we are going to be exploring. There's lots to learn here, and looking forward to sharing all that with you guys. And you guys also start, figuring things out, and then share what you have learned. And then real quick, Terry, what is your, the calendar event you're mentioning? What is that? Okay, well, all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Like we said, this call, if you missed anything, this call will be posted on our website and all the other places that we mentioned, YouTube in addition, so you can go back and review it if you'd like. And thank you everybody for your participation. And then, we'll be having our Monday night iBUG Buzz, and then our iBUG Buzz at Clubhouse, mini Buzz on Clubhouse. And then I think that's what we have. Oh, Mac and Talk for this Tuesday as well. That'll be fun. And then the third Friday is iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. So we've got lots of things going on. We're at the ending, wrapping up on the month of September. And there we go. Terry Ann, was that you? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Thursday is, it was rescheduled from George's presentation on
right,
Clubhouse.
9/24. That's right. Thank you so much. Yes, it's iBUG's Life 24, non-24 Fact or Fiction. So that is absolutely right. Thank you so much, Terry Ann. Appreciate that.
That's Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Lisa, is it this Thursday?
Thursday on Clubhouse. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes. Okay, so thank you for that. And with that, we are going to wrap it up and say good evening and have a great weekend and see you very soon. So thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
I hope I'm working at the Apple Store soon.
Oh, that would be good.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Leave. Space and can't leave.
You don't want to leave?